Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, owner of Elevated Beauty Aesthetics in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Today's episode is going to be, is it necessary? There are so many different things that you can do for your skin, so many devices, and a lot of it is kind of just like unnecessary. You can do other things instead that are more functional. So we're just going to dive deep into that. And this is all opinion-based, of course, just as most things are on this podcast. But if you are interested in what I deem to be necessary or unnecessary relative to skincare, then keep on listening. So I think I mentioned this in one of my recent episodes, toners. I've said this before, toners were created back whenever cleansers created a film on your face, and toner's function was to remove that extra film that was left behind. And cleansers have developed their formulation since then, and they're really not known to do that. So what are the use of toners now? Well, nowadays, most toners, some people do kind of use it for that function, like ideally, but good toners are meant to act as kind of almost like a treatment serum almost. So toners that are actually useful are going to be ones that have targeted ingredients to help with certain skin issues like hyperkeratosis or thick oily skin. So this would be a toner that might have alpha hydroxy acids in it. There are even some toners that are supposed to be hydrating, so they might have like hydrating ingredients or whatever, but when it comes to that, I feel like it's just an unnecessary step. If you need those targeted ingredients, I feel like you can just use an AHA in your cleanser. And if you are using a toner for hydration, I feel like you should just use a hydrating mist. This is just me. I don't retail them. I just don't feel like they're necessary in a routine to achieve results. I think that you can achieve results without them. So that's why I don't retail them. I'm sure there are toners that are good, but for me, I would just rather have those ingredients in my cleanser or in a facial mist. Okay, now moving on, double cleansing. Is it necessary? Yes and no. So double cleansing is necessary at the end of the day. Even if you're not wearing makeup, if you just put SPF on, it is helpful to double cleanse, even, with some micellar water first on some cotton rounds, and then use your treatment cleanser. When it isn't necessary is in the morning. You wake up, you don't have any SPF on, you haven't been out in the elements, but you can just do like a quick cleanser, like a pre-cleanse, or if you have a certain skin condition, you can use your treatment cleanser. I have normal dry skin, live in a dry climate, so when I wake up in the morning, I just use my micellar water. It's not necessary to double cleanse in the morning. At the end of the day, yes. If you're super lazy at the end of the day and you don't wear makeup and your skin is being managed well from a consistent routine, you're not going to die if you don't double cleanse. But if you have a certain skin condition or skin concern, it is good to stick to that routine and be really diligent with it. But I just always tell people, at the end of the day, try and double cleanse. And if you wear makeup, you definitely have to. So yeah, that's a yes and no. Is it necessary? But the whole reason for double cleansing, of course, I made a post on it a while back, is like, you don't mop your floors without sweeping it. So you really want to make sure that you have everything like dirt, oil, makeup off your skin, and then you can use a treatment cleanser, and those ingredients can actually penetrate and they can do their magic. So this is something that I'm actually really passionate about. I build it up with my clients. I always start everyone off on a simple routine, but if you love skincare and you want to have like really immaculate skin, you will do what's kind of called skin cycling. So is it necessary to have multiple products? Yes and no. It's not necessary to maintain the health of your skin, but if you want to incorporate multiple different types of ingredients, you need different products. So what I do is I like teeter. So I have one day where I'll use the skin gel in my AM routine, and the next day I'll use the beauty oil in place of that. And then also in my PM, I'll use the retinoid, I'll use the Lyra Clinical Retinol Plus treatment. And then the next night, I'll just use a moisturizer or a moisturizer cocktail, because I have like 4 different moisturizers because I'm extra. I love moisturizers and I like to mix them. So I think it's nice to be able to have multiples of products. That way you can give your skin the best of both worlds, but it's definitely not for someone who's starting out a routine. You should have a really solid skincare routine to begin with, and once your skin is controlled and is reaping the benefits of that, you can start to incorporate other things. So it's a choice. It's not necessary, but I love it. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it's not necessary. It's not necessary to have several different products, and I don't recommend you to have several different products. Yeah, like I said, if you're just starting a solid routine, you need to have some consistency first, and then if you want, you can incorporate other things to do every other day. I also mentioned this in my end of the year favorites. Gua Sha stones, are they necessary? No, they're not necessary, but they make things a lot easier. And if you want to hear more about that, then go listen to that episode. I used to use my hands. Now I don't. I use the Gua Sha stone instead, because plain and simple, it's that much easier. But no, they're not necessary to achieve lymphatic drainage or muscle tension relief, but they're amazing. So body scrubs. I used to love body scrubs. I always had one from Farmhouse Fresh or from Tree Hut, and I don't anymore because they're not necessary. So I have been taking a more sustainable approach these days, and now I do an exfoliating glove. So that is something, this one in particular that I retail, and there are many others that are washable. So I toss it in the washer like once a week, and I use that to exfoliate my whole body with just soap or with just water. You pop it on, super sustainable, super cheap and easy. But additionally with that, I get more exfoliation by doing a roll-on exfoliation serum. So I have the Smooth Operator and Get the Bump Out of Here. Smooth Operator from just a strip, and then Get the Bump Out of Here from Relax and Wax. They're both essentially the same one, but I was just trying to decide which one I want. From this point on, I'm not going to be keeping the one from Strip in stock anymore, because the one from Relax and Wax Get the Bump Out of Here roll-on exfoliation serum is a couple dollars cheaper. But anyways, what it uses is it uses lactic acid, I believe, and then it has, which is an alpha hydroxy acid that it resurfaces, and it's also a tyrosinase inhibitor, and also has hydrating properties. But there's a lot of other ingredients in there that are soothing, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. So I use that on my underarms and in my bikini area, and the rest of my body is just fine with using the exfoliating mitt. And always moisturize afterwards. I've been using the Persoma AM oil, which I retail. Is called Pure Soleil. It's such a really nice, fresh, kind of like gender neutral scent, and it's all organic, women owned, farmer sourced. It uses like marigold oil or something like that. All essential oils, plant extracts, all that stuff. Anyways, I love it, and that's what I use on my entire body after I exfoliate. So, body scrubs, are they necessary? No, they're not. Just use an exfoliating glove, or use like a toner with alpha hydroxy acids in it that you can put on your whole body, or like a roll-on serum, or a lotion with alpha hydroxy acids in it. But I would only use a lotion with alpha hydroxy acids in it if you're also using an exfoliating mitt. I wouldn't just rely on that solution alone to exfoliate. Okay, when using one or the other, using a body oil, is it necessary to also use a body lotion? And if you're using a body lotion, is it also necessary to use a body oil? Yes and no. It depends on your skin type. For me in the wintertime, yes, absolutely 100%, because that body oil is going to act as an occlusive, and then the lotion is going to be more emollient, skin softening. So using both of those together is really going to help to seal in moisture. You might be someone who isn't as dry, and you might be able to benefit purely from one or the other. Cleansing brushes. So the Clarisonic was one of the OGs, and everybody was crazy about it and swore by it, and I was one of those people, and I would never use it now. So harsh, so abrasive. Any type of cleansing device, in my opinion, is not necessary. You can use your hands, and that's just fine enough. You don't need that extra micro exfoliation when you're cleansing. If you have a solid routine, you should be exfoliating once a week, and that should be sufficient enough. If you have a cleansing device that is micro exfoliating, then that can lead to over exfoliation. If you are going to use a cleansing device, I definitely recommend to use a silicone one. They do have, I can't even think of the brand names, but you've seen them. They're like vibrating silicone ones, or they're just like little pads that you can hold in your hand, and it's just got like these tiny little fingers on it, and it's made of silicone. So that's going to be a little less micro exfoliating than like battery operated exfoliating brush heads. But with that being said, it is more exfoliating than just using your hands. So just stick to the hands. That's what I use. My skin looks great. Like every esthetician that I follow also recommends to use their hands. So no, cleansing devices are not necessary. This is the last one. Pimple patches or pimple spot treatments. Is it necessary? No, it's not necessary to treat acne. When I treat acne as a whole, like internally, and then your whole skincare routine is catered towards those symptoms and treating your acne instead of just where it's occurring, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't recommend you a spot treatment and then you just treat that one spot. That doesn't make sense. When you're treating acne, you need to treat the skin as a whole, and then also treat your body internally and find out your acne triggers. So what spot treatments can help with, though, is to keep you from touching it, and it also has ingredients in there that are going to target that active acne. But when I tell my clients is if they are pickers, have a spot treatment on hand, because you can just put it there and it'll keep you from trying to pop it or touch it. And then also the same thing with pimple patches. Some of the pimple patches are just hydrocolloid, I can't even say it right, hydrocolloid patches. And what that does is that just helps, it kind of acts like a band-aid and helps to retain moisture in there. It's not actually like drawing anything out, but it does help with a lot of people's acne to reduce inflammation and keep them from touching it. So there are some pimple patches that do have salicylic acid, which is an ingredient. It's beta hydroxy acid. It can get into the hair follicle and control the oil levels. So there's a few different kinds of pimple patches, but anyways, in my opinion, they're just great for keeping your hands off of the acne. So are they necessary? It depends. If you're a picker, I would say yeah. And if not, then no, it's not necessary. So that's all I have for today. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next Monday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another episode.